The real reason cities are so crowded. Half of humanity is squeezed into just 1% of Earth's land. While the world looks vast on a map, 3.8 billion people are crammed into a circle smaller than the United States. This concentration follows a pattern that has persisted for over 1,000 years. A 5,000-mile circle in Asia that serves as a hidden blueprint for civilization. Ancient river systems and fertile agricultural zones have drawn people to these regions for millennia, creating population centers that endure today. Meanwhile, vast territories across the globe remain nearly empty. In this video, we'll examine the powerful geographic, environmental, and historical forces that explain why humans continue to cluster in specific regions while leaving others sparsely inhabited. The Asian population circle revealed. If you were to take a satellite image of Earth at night and look at the glowing lights that represent human activity, you'd notice something extraordinary. The lights aren't evenly distributed. Instead, they're heavily concentrated in one relatively small region. This remarkable pattern reveals one of humanity's most fascinating geographic puzzles. Picture drawing a circle on a world map, a circle just 5,000 miles in diameter. Within this modest area that spans across parts of China, India, Japan, and Southeast Asia lives over half of our entire species. More than 3.8 billion people call this region home, despite it representing only a small fraction of Earth's total land area. This phenomenon has been the reality of human population distribution for centuries. What makes this intriguing is that humans have developed technologies to survive in the most challenging environments, from the frozen Arctic to scorching deserts. Yet we've chosen, collectively and consistently, to concentrate ourselves within this specific Asian circle. This becomes strikingly apparent when examining nighttime satellite imagery. The Asian population circle glows intensely on these night maps, with dense networks of light spreading across eastern China, Japan, and the Korean peninsula. The Indo-Gangetic Plain appears as a luminous ribbon stretching across northern India, while coastal regions of Southeast Asia shine like delicate beaded necklaces along shorelines. Compare this to Australia, where Perth, Sydney, and Melbourne appear as isolated bright dots along coastlines, with the vast interior remaining in darkness. Or look at North America, where lights cluster along the eastern seaboard and Great Lakes, but thin dramatically across the Great Plains and Rocky Mountains. This pattern's historical persistence is remarkable. A millennium ago, in 1000 CE, Marco Polo hadn't yet traveled to Asia, but population records already showed this same concentration. China's Song Dynasty census counted approximately 59 million people, while India had around 75 million inhabitants. Even then, these regions contained Earth's greatest concentration of human beings, suggesting the geographic advantages of these areas have influenced settlement patterns for over 1,000 years. To understand this distribution, we must consider carrying capacity. The maximum population size an environment can sustain indefinitely based on available resources like food, water, and habitat. This concept explains why some regions support dense human populations, while others remain sparsely inhabited. Carrying capacity varies dramatically across geographic regions, influenced by climate conditions, access to fresh water, soil fertility, topography, and natural resource availability. Areas with fertile soil, reliable water access, and favorable climate generally support much higher population densities than regions with extreme temperatures, limited water, or poor soil quality. The population density contrast between regions is extreme. In eastern China and the Ganges River Basin, densities regularly exceed 1,000 people per square kilometer. Meanwhile, vast areas of Central Australia, northern Canada, and the Sahara Desert maintain densities below 1 person per square kilometer. The Indo-Gangetic Plain exemplifies high carrying capacity, with rich alluvial soil continuously replenished by river systems, abundant monsoon rainfall, and moderate temperatures enabling agricultural production that supports large populations. Compare this to the Australian outback, where water scarcity and nutrient-poor soils severely limit agricultural potential and human population density. What's remarkable about the Asian population circle is that it encompasses multiple regions with unusually high carrying capacities. The great river valleys of China, the fertile plains of India, and the productive rice-growing regions of Southeast Asia all exist within this circle. These areas have supported dense populations through agricultural systems that efficiently convert available resources into food production. The satellite lights illuminate the culmination of thousands of years of human settlement decisions responding to these geographic advantages. They reveal where Earth's surface has been most hospitable to our species over time. This pattern stability raises fascinating questions. In an age of global transportation and technology that theoretically allows humans to live almost anywhere, why does this concentration persist? What specific factors make this circle so uniquely habitable compared to the rest of Earth? The answer lies in a complex interplay of natural advantages. The Asian population circle benefits from a remarkable convergence of multiple favorable conditions that together create an environment exceptionally conducive to supporting large numbers of people. It's about having several crucial advantages simultaneously. The combination of major river systems providing water, transportation, and fertile soil. Climate patterns delivering reliable rainfall. Temperature ranges allowing year-round agriculture. And coastal access facilitating trade has created a geographic sweet spot unmatched elsewhere on Earth. These advantages aren't evenly distributed within the circle. The highest population densities cluster around specific features, river valleys, coastal plains, and fertile basins, where favorable conditions are most concentrated. Even within this circle, mountainous regions, deserts, and areas with less favorable conditions remain relatively sparsely populated. This population pattern has endured across vastly different technological eras. From ancient agricultural societies to modern industrial economies, the fundamental geographic advantages of this region have consistently supported larger human populations than elsewhere. While technology has increased the overall carrying capacity of various regions, it hasn't eliminated the relative advantages that certain areas possess. The persistence of this distribution suggests something profound about how humans interact with their environment. Despite our technological capabilities, we remain influenced by the fundamental geographic characteristics of the landscapes we inhabit. Our numbers still concentrate where natural conditions most favor human habitation and subsistence. The Asian population circle represents a geographic sweet spot where multiple favorable factors converge to create environments exceptionally conducive to human habitation. Rivers, the lifeblood of civilization. Looking at the distribution of humanity from above, one pattern becomes unmistakably clear. The most densely populated regions of our planet all share a common feature. They follow the paths of major river systems. These ancient waterways have acted as magnets for human settlement, creating a stark contrast between the thriving population centers they support and the relatively empty lands elsewhere. The Indo-Gangetic Plain stands as perhaps the most dramatic example of this phenomenon. This vast stretch of land, fed by three mighty rivers, the Ganges, Indus, and Brahmaputra, supports a population approaching 1 billion people. The scale of human concentration here becomes even more remarkable when compared with Mongolia, a country that despite having twice the land area of the Indo-Gangetic Plain, is home to just 3.4 million people. This disparity represents the profound impact that river systems have on human carrying capacity. From space, the contrast between these regions tells a story with striking visual clarity. Where the Indo-Gangetic Plain appears as a vibrant green ribbon cutting across the landscape, Mongolia presents a predominantly brown, arid expanse. These colors represent fundamentally different environments with vastly different capacities to support human life. Rivers function as the arteries of civilization, pumping the lifeblood of freshwater, nutrients, and commerce through the body of human settlements. What makes these waterways so uniquely capable of supporting human populations at such extraordinary scales? The answer lies in the triple benefit they provide: reliable freshwater, self-renewing fertile soil, and natural transportation networks. Prior to modern infrastructure, Settlements could only grow as large as their water sources could reliably support. Major river systems like the Ganges provided this crucial resource at a scale that allowed for the development of extensive agricultural systems and large population centers. Beyond drinking and irrigation, these rivers create and maintain the very foundation upon which agricultural productivity depends. Each year, the seasonal flooding of these major Asian rivers deposits nutrient-rich sediments across their floodplains. This natural process essentially delivers a fresh layer of fertilizer annually, replenishing soil nutrients that would otherwise be depleted through intensive farming. The Ganges-Brahmaputra Delta, the largest in the world, demonstrates this phenomenon at an impressive scale. Its fertile wetlands support massive human populations while sustaining diverse ecosystems, including healthy populations of Bengal tigers. This annual renewal creates agricultural conditions impossible to maintain in regions without major river systems. The third critical advantage these waterways provide is natural transportation infrastructure. Before railways, highways, or air travel, rivers served as the most efficient means of moving people and goods over long distances. This natural transportation network facilitated trade, cultural exchange, and the spread of ideas, all essential elements for the development of complex societies. Examining historical maps of the earliest large-scale human civilizations across Asia reveals a consistent pattern. From the Harappan civilization along the Indus to the ancient Chinese settlements along the Yellow and Yangtze rivers, humanity's first major population centers formed along these waterways. These represented strategic decisions to settle where the natural environment provided the greatest advantages. The incredible population supporting capacity of these river systems becomes even clearer when we consider their impact. The annual discharge rates of the major Asian rivers deliver water and millions of tons of nutrient-rich sediment that continually rebuilds and enriches the soil. This process creates a self-sustaining system that has supported intensive agriculture for thousands of years. Without these favorable river conditions, regions must rely on more labor-intensive and technologically advanced methods to achieve even modest agricultural productivity. In Mongolia, the absence of major river systems means that despite its vast land area, it cannot naturally support anywhere near the same population density. The harsh, arid conditions of the Mongolian steppe simply cannot match the natural abundance created by major river valleys. This pattern extends beyond just the Indo-Gangetic Plain and Mongolia. Across the Asian population circle, from China's eastern seaboard to Southeast Asia, the presence of major river systems consistently correlates with high population density. The Yangtze, Yellow, Mekong, and other significant waterways all support disproportionately large populations relative to their geographic footprint. Over centuries, these advantages compound. Regions with reliable water, fertile soil, and natural transportation networks could support larger populations, which in turn could develop more complex societies, technologies, and infrastructure. This created a feedback loop where initial geographic advantages translated into civilization-scale benefits that further enhanced the region's ability to support human life. The contrast with sparsely populated regions becomes even more pronounced when we consider how difficult it is to artificially recreate the benefits these river systems provide naturally. Modern Mongolia requires extensive infrastructure, technology, and energy inputs to support even its modest population. Without major rivers delivering water, renewing soil, and providing transportation, human settlement faces much higher barriers to growth and sustainability. What makes this remarkable is that these population patterns have remained relatively stable over thousands of years, despite dramatic technological changes. While modern technology has certainly enabled people to live in previously uninhabitable areas, the broad strokes of human population distribution still follow the patterns established by these ancient waterways. The development of major irrigation projects, modern transportation networks, and fertilizer production has reduced our direct dependence on rivers. But these technologies have not fundamentally altered where most people choose to live. Instead, they've often reinforced existing population centers by making already productive regions even more capable of supporting dense human settlement. This persistence suggests something profound about the relationship between human civilization and geography. The advantages provided by major river systems are so fundamental that even our most advanced technologies haven't rendered them obsolete. Instead, our civilizations have grown up around these waterways, building upon the natural advantages they provide rather than attempting to completely overcome geographic limitations. Understanding this relationship explains why humanity remains so unevenly distributed across our planet. The stark contrast between the billion people thriving along the Indo-Gangetic Plain and the sparse population of Mongolia illuminates a fundamental truth. Where rivers flow, human civilization follows. Agricultural productivity, the rice revolution. While rivers have shaped where populations could thrive, it's what humans cultivated in those fertile floodplains that truly revolutionized our ability to concentrate in specific regions. The Asian population circle owes much of its density to an agricultural innovation that transforms limited land into extraordinarily productive food systems. Rice cultivation stands as perhaps humanity's most efficient food production system. In Southeast Asia, a single hectare of rice paddy can sustain approximately 5 times more people than the same area devoted to wheat in Europe or North America. This remarkable productivity difference explains why regions practicing intensive rice agriculture can maintain population densities that would be impossible elsewhere. This agricultural efficiency creates stark contrasts in how many people different landscapes can support. Consider Australia's outback, a vast territory covering 70% of the continent, yet supporting merely a tenth of Australia's already modest population. The contrast stems directly from the agricultural potential each environment can sustain with available water resources. What makes rice cultivation so extraordinarily efficient? The answer lies in its multidimensional approach to resource utilization. Rice paddies function as complex agricultural ecosystems that maximize productivity from limited space. True microcosms of human ingenuity, where every square inch serves multiple purposes simultaneously. Farmers throughout the Asian population circle have perfected techniques that transform a hectare of land into a multi-layered food production system. In these integrated systems, farmers create symbiotic relationships between rice, fish, vegetables, and fruit trees, all thriving within and around the same paddy. This ecosystem approach multiplies food output while minimizing waste. Perhaps most importantly, many regions within the Asian population circle can harvest multiple rice crops annually from the same plot of land, further multiplying the overall productivity. This integrated approach stands in sharp contrast to agricultural practices in regions like Australia's outback, where harsh environmental conditions limit both what can be grown and how intensively the land can be used. The infertile soils and limited water resources create natural ceilings on agricultural productivity that technology alone cannot overcome. According to the Global Agricultural Productivity Report, the concept of total factor productivity, TFP, helps explain these dramatic differences. TFP measures how efficiently farmers convert inputs like land, labor, and materials into agricultural outputs. The remarkable efficiency of rice cultivation systems represents one of humanity's greatest achievements in maximizing TFP, creating food surpluses that allowed populations to grow far beyond what would otherwise be possible. The GAP report highlights that sustainable agricultural growth requires achieving an average annual 2% TFP growth between now and 2050 to meet global food demands. This benchmark underscores the continuing importance of efficient farming systems like those developed across the Asian population circle, which have historically delivered exceptional productivity from limited resources. These agricultural advantages don't emerge overnight. The high-yield systems prevalent across East and Southeast Asia represent the culmination of thousands of years of agricultural innovation. Farmers throughout the region gradually refined techniques to maximize output from their limited arable land, creating a virtuous cycle where increased food production supported larger populations, who could then contribute more labor to intensify production further. This feedback loop, more food supporting more people who could create even more food, helps explain why population density increased so dramatically in rice-growing regions compared to areas relying on less productive agricultural systems. Historical population growth curves show remarkable correlation with the expansion and refinement of rice cultivation techniques across East and Southeast Asia. What's particularly fascinating about these agricultural systems is how they've maintained their advantage despite technological advances. Even with modern agricultural technologies, the basic productivity advantage of rice cultivation remains. The caloric output per acre for wet rice cultivation dramatically outperforms other farming methods, even when comparing modern versions of each system. This persistent advantage explains why traditional rice-growing regions continue to support exceptionally dense populations despite dramatic changes in other aspects of society. The agricultural foundation, established centuries ago, created population patterns that have persisted into the modern era. South Asia exemplifies this continued agricultural evolution, emerging as a regional leader with an impressive average annual TFP growth rate of 1.4% during the past decade. India in particular has achieved a remarkable 1.7% annual TFP growth by investing in mechanization, information technology innovations, and optimized resource use. This success demonstrates how regions with historically productive agricultural systems can continue enhancing their advantage. The contrast with regions struggling to achieve similar agricultural productivity is stark. Sub-Saharan Africa, for instance, has recorded an average annual TFP growth of just 0.37% over the same period. Agricultural output in these regions relies primarily on land expansion and input intensification rather than efficiency gains, a fundamentally different approach than the intensive productivity model that characterizes the Asian population circle. The Valley of Death concept described in recent agricultural research helps explain why some regions struggle to match the productivity of rice cultivation zones. This concept refers to the gap between innovation and widespread adoption of agricultural technologies and practices. While rice-growing regions have spent centuries refining their agricultural systems, other areas face significant hurdles in adopting productivity-enhancing techniques that could allow them to support larger populations. All these factors combine to create a fundamental geographic reality. The carrying capacity for a human population varies dramatically between regions based on their agricultural potential. The revolutionary productivity of wet rice agriculture allowed Asian regions to support population densities that would be impossible in places like Australia's outback, where climate and soil conditions impose severe limitations on agricultural output. This agricultural foundation underlies the entire pattern of global population distribution we observe today. The concentration of humanity in the Asian population circle reflects the cumulative effect of agricultural systems that systematically produce more food per unit of land than alternatives. The implications extend beyond mere historical interest. As humanity grapples with feeding a growing global population while facing climate change and environmental pressures, understanding these profound differences in agricultural productivity becomes increasingly important. The lessons from rice-growing regions about maximizing output from limited resources may prove valuable far beyond their original geographic context. Current research emphasizes that bridging the gap between agricultural innovation and real-world adoption represents a crucial challenge. Regions that succeed in implementing integrated high-efficiency agricultural systems, similar to those that evolved in rice-growing areas, may be able to support substantially larger populations than they currently do, potentially reshaping global population distribution patterns. The fundamental insight remains clear. Where humans can produce the most food from the least land, populations concentrate.